The starship descended through Earth's atmosphere like a silver needle piercing blue silk, its hull shimmering with technologies that bent light itself. Inside, the Kryathi delegation, towering beings of crystalline bones and translucent skin, adjusted their ceremonial robes while sneering at the primitive blue world below. Cultural exchange with gravity pets, one muttered, mandibles clicking with amusement. I give it 3 cycles before they beg us for anti-grav assistance. Their instructor, a scaled Vraxian, whose ancestors had conquered 12 star systems, tapped the viewport with a claw. Remember, children, we endure the crushing depths of Thalanine. This backwater sphere will feel like floating. The landing ramp extended onto the human training campus, where rows of cadets stood at attention in simple gray uniforms. The alien students emerged with theatrical grace, their movements practiced for maximum elegance. Then gravity hit. The first Kryathi student's knee buckled mid-step. A hairline crack spiderwebbing across her crystalline patella. She caught herself, laughing nervously, attributing it to plague. Behind her, a Vraxian's tail dragged against the concrete, leaving a faint trail of shed scales, his spine already compressing under forces his body had never encountered. The humans watched in silence, their faces carefully neutral, hands clasped behind backs that bore Earth's pull without conscious thought. "Welcome to Camp Ironwood," announced the human commander, a woman whose weathered face suggested decades under this very sky. The Vraxian instructor interrupted her, rising to his full height, then immediately regretting it, as his vertebrae groaned audibly. "We appreciate your quaint hospitality," he wheezed, pride forcing him upright. "But I assure you, we Vraxians have endured radiation storms that would vaporize your species. This gentle breeze you call gravity is a sharp crack." His secondary claw had fractured at the joint, hanging at an unnatural angle. Human medics moved forward instinctively, but he waved them off with his remaining good limb. "Irrelevant," he finished, though sweat now beaded on his scaled brow. The orientation began in an open field where human cadets had arranged simple obstacles, logs to step over, a gentle incline to climb, basic equipment to carry. "Let's start with fundamentals," the commander suggested, but alien laughter rippled through the group. A Kryathi youth bounded forward, experimentally, attempting the effortless leap his species was famous for on their move. He cleared perhaps half a meter before crashing down, the impact sending fracture lines racing through both shin structures. His scream pierced the afternoon air, a crystalline keening that made the humans wince. "Medic," someone shouted, but the Kryathi waved them away, pride overriding agony. "Simply misjudged the technique," he gasped, unable to stand. 9.8 meters per second squared, recited a human cadet, a young man barely out of his teens, as he effortlessly lifted the injured alien and carried him to the medical tent. "That's what you're fighting. Every moment, every heartbeat." The alien delegation stared as this supposed fragile mammal bore weight that was clearly crushing his own species. "Impossible," whispered a Kryathi scholar, her 3 eyes wide. "His muscle density can't possibly." She tried to follow, taking 3 steps before her hip socket dislocated with a wet pop. She collapsed into grass that felt hard as concrete, each blade pressing against her body like a blade. The sprint drill was where everything unraveled. "A simple 100-meter dash," the human instructor explained, gesturing to a straightforward track. "At your own pace, no pressure." The aliens exchanged confident glances. Speed was universal, wasn't it? The starting signal fired. Crystalline bodies lurched forward, scales gleaming in sunlight, and for exactly 4 seconds, they looked magnificent. Then physics reminded them who was host and who was guest. Bones shattered in sequence, femurs snapping like glass rods, spinal columns compressing, ribs cracking inward as lungs tried to expand against weight they'd never been designed to bear. The sound was horrific, a symphony of biological failure, of evolution meeting its hard limits. Human cadets rushed forward, but not in panic, in practiced deficiency. They'd prepared for this possibility, though they'd hoped arrogance wouldn't push the visitors this far. Stretchers appeared. Automated med drones hummed to life. But mostly, humans just lifted the broken aliens with their own hands, cradling crystalline scholars and scaled warriors with surprising gentleness. "I've got you," murmured a human cadet to a Vraxian, whose breathing came in wet, labored gasps. "Don't try to move. Your lung-collapsed Earth's air pressure is denser than you're used to, and gravity's pressing down on organs that expect to float." The alien's eyes showed confusion, then slowly, dawning horror. As the sun set, Medical tents glowed with emergency lighting while alien vitals flickered on holoscreens in concerning reds and yellows. Every single visitor showed multiple fractures. Some had stress-induced organ failures. 2 were in critical condition, their bodies simply unable to maintain basic functions under relentless gravitational pressure. Outside, human cadets prepared dinner, chopping vegetables, hauling water, building fires, all activities requiring them to lift, bend, carry, and move under the same crushing force that had destroyed their guests in hours. One Kryathi student, immobilized in a medical pod, watched through the tent opening as a human woman casually shouldered a 50-kilogram pack of supplies and walked uphill without breaking stride. How? The word escaped her translator as barely a whisper. A human medic adjusting her fore looked up. How? What? How do you ... live like this? Every moment of every day. The medic considered the question, his face showing genuine confusion about what seemed so obvious. This isn't living like this to us. This is just ... living. We're born here. Our bones calcify under this pressure. Our muscles develop fighting it. Every step we take from infancy is training. He paused, noticing her expression. What did you think Earth was? We sent you our gravity specifications, atmospheric data, everything. The Kryathi's translator crackled as she tried to form words. We thought you exaggerated, or that you were adapted but fragile like deep-sea creatures, specialized and delicate. We've seen your ships destroyed by Vraxian raiders. We've watched your colonies struggle with terraforming. You seem so ... weak. The medic smiled without humor. Yeah, we get that a lot. Until people visit. He gestured out the tent. See that kid there? 19 years old. Failed his first officer exam twice. He's considered below average for our military. Yesterday, he carried 2 of your instructors' beings, who've conquered star systems to safety without asking for help. That's what we're hiding, I guess. Not advanced weapons or secret tech. Just ... this. Night deepened, and with it came whispered conversations across the galactic network. The Kryathi High Council received reports and refused to believe them. The Vraxian Empire demanded proof, so Human Command provided it. Live footage of their basic training program. Humans running obstacle courses in full gear, climbing rope nets, doing pull-ups, push-ups, exercises that required them to lift their own body weight against gravity's relentless pull dozens, hundreds of times. To the watching aliens, it looked like torture. To humans, it was Wednesday. Comments flooded the feeds. This explains the siege of Proxima. Their entire species trains under a constant weight. We couldn't survive for hours. They're not weak. They're compressed steel-wearing skin. By morning, the medical assessment was complete. Of 47 alien students, 45 required immediate evacuation to orbital stations where gravity could be adjusted. 2 had died during the night, their hearts simply giving out, unable to pump blood against pressure their biology never anticipated. The human commander stood before the survivors, many still in medical pods, her expression grave. I'm sorry, she began, and meant it. We warned about compatibility issues, but I don't think any of us understood the gap. You come from worlds we can barely imagine, gas giants, microgravity moons, places where survival means completely different things. She paused, choosing words carefully. But Earth is what it is. And we are what we had to become to live here. A young Kryathi delegate, both legs shattered but mind sharp, raised a trembling appendage. You're saying, this world made you? The commander nodded slowly. Forged us, more like, every human baby falls hundreds of times, learning to walk. We break bones and they heal stronger. We climb, we run, we fight not against enemies, but against our own planet, every single day. It's not special to us, it's survival. But yes, Earth is what humans call a death world in your classification systems. We just call it home. The evacuation ships arrived at noon, their anti-gravity fields humming as they carefully lifted broken bodies from soil that had proven far more hostile than any weapon. As the last alien was loaded aboard, the Vraxian instructor, now understanding why his conquering ancestors had always avoided Earth, gripped the human commander's hand with his remaining functional claw. We came here thinking we'd teach you, he admitted, voice cracking. Instead, you've shown us why. In 500 years of galactic conflict, no species has successfully invaded your homeworld. The commander's smile was tired. We didn't show you anything. You just spent a day being us. That's all. The starships lifted into blue sky, their hulls reflecting clouds that drifted through atmosphere so thick it was practically soup to alien lungs. Inside, medical bays worked overtime while scholars compiled reports that would change galactic policy forever. On the ground, human cadets returned to their routine morning run, breakfast, equipment check, drills. One young man paused mid-sit-up, watching the ships vanish into space. "Think they'll come back?" his partner grunted through her own set. "Maybe. But now they know." "Know what?" She finished her rep and stood in one fluid motion. This simple act of rising against gravity, something she'd done 10,000 times, and would do 10,000 more. That, we're not weak. We're just carrying weight they can't even imagine. Every step, every breath, every moment. That's not weakness. That's the opposite. Word spread through alien networks, with unprecedented speed, not through official channels, but through the whispered awe of survivors sharing their experiences. Footage of humans performing basic activities became viral across a dozen species. The image of a human child casually swinging from playground equipment appeared in xenobiology textbooks, with the caption, "Training begins at age 3. Earth's gravity stopped being a curiosity in stellar surveys and became a warning. Diplomatic missions insisted on orbital stations. Trade negotiations happened via hologram. And slowly, the galaxy's perception shifted. Humans weren't the weak newcomers struggling to compete with ancient empires. They were the survivors of a crucible that would kill most species in hours. In the human training compound, life continued unchanged. The commander filed her report, noting necessary improvements to alien safety protocols and recommending better pre-arrival screening. Cadets ran their drills, complaining about the heat, the boredom, the routine, ever about the gravity, because that was like complaining about time itself. Always present, always pressing. And somewhere in the medical wing, a single Kryathi student who'd insisted on staying despite her injuries watched humans through reinforced windows. She was documenting everything, filling reports that would become the foundation of a new field, comparative gravitational biology. Her conclusion, written with painstaking care through a translator that struggled with concepts her language had never needed. Humans are not anomalous because they survived Earth. They are anomalous because Earth is their normal, and they have forgotten how extraordinary that makes them.